Welcome back. The UNAM Education Conference, EduCon 2024, scheduled for September 17 to 19 in Windhoek, Namibia, aims to address the urgent needs for innovative skills-based education in a rapidly evolving global landscape. With the theme Fostering Innovative Skills-Based Education in the 21st Century for a Sustainable Future, the conference seeks to engage educators, researchers, policymakers, and stakeholders in exploring strategies to equip graduates with essential skills such as creativity, critical thinking, and adaptability. This initiative is particularly relevant given the complexities introduced by globalization, technological advancements, and socio-political challenges. Joining us for this conversation this evening is Dr. Enoch Simasiku, who is the Head of Department of Applied Education Sciences at the University of Namibia. Good evening and welcome, Dr. Simasiku.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
All right.
I want to understand the inspiration behind choosing the theme that I just mentioned, fostering innovation skills-based education in the 21st century for a sustainable future.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that first opener. You see, the world in which we live is dynamic, and the evolution of needs as well as the competencies that we require to thrive in this particular environment is forever evolving. And therefore, in alignment with that or in consideration of that, we coined this kind of conference in that way so that it aligns with the current demands and aspirations of the industry, but as well as the world in which we live. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what basically inspired that kind of a title or theme for the conference.
Dr. Simasiku, talk to us about how you see higher education institutions playing a role in bridging the skills gap that we're seeing in today's job market.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think I would like to indicate that higher institutions or higher education is the bridge between secondary education and the world of work or the work industry. And therefore, there is a very important need that our tertiary institutions or institutions of higher education such that they operate in such a form that they understand the dynamics or the needs of the industry so that they teach to the needs of the industry. And this will enable all the graduates in different institutions to be able to thrive when they go out there in the industry. Number one, to be able to provide the kind of services and needs to the society, but also to be able to sustain themselves, because when you have a unique skill, you have unique competencies, you provide the service, but from that service you also sustain yourself to live, successfully.
Talk to us a little bit more about the conference, which kicks off on the 17th, and how this conference will help bring together educators and industry leaders for collaboration.
Thank you very much. Just to give a bit of background, in the process of organizing the conference, we have had several engagements with different stakeholders, as most of us will understand that education is a shared responsibility. So we have engaged organizations, non-government organizations, as well as different agencies of the government, more in particular the Ministry of Education, who is our co-host to this particular conference. So we will have different stakeholders who are going to be taking part in this particular conference, including researchers, policymakers, any other different kind of stakeholders in the field of education, because we primarily believe that education is a shared responsibility, and therefore there's a need to identify all stakeholders. And I think in that way, once we have brought all these people together, you get to hear the side of the industry, then you get to hear the side of the tertiary institutions, and then the side of the students as well in terms of what challenges they are facing and all that. So we believe that in that way, we are really bringing everyone together so that we have a collective and a more universally agreed kind of resolution as far as the challenges and the future is concerned.
What are some of the more specific goals you're hoping to achieve with this conference in terms of advancing skill-based education?
Thank you very much. One of the key resolutions that we seek to achieve in the first place is that we would want the findings or the resolutions of this particular conference disseminated to the particular individuals or organizations who ought to help in terms of formulating policies that would ensure that we are all in line with what is expected, especially out there in the industry. But also we have invited, especially in the Ministry of Education, we have invited people from all the regions so that everyone else, including the teachers, the principals, and the directors, so that we all get to hear some of the key discussions that will take place. And we believe that one of the biggest outcomes is that it will inform the policymakers, but also the education implementers like teachers and so on, to ensure that we are all on pair and that we advance the cause. We strongly want to change the discourse of just going to conferences
Yes.
and thereafter shopping and all that. We would really want to see outcomes, like I said already. We would want to see discussions that will inform policy, that will in the end align Namibia to what the world trend is as far as our skills-based education is concerned.
Dr. Simaseko, what skills do you think are absolutely essential for graduates to have in order for them to succeed in a rapidly changing world?
Thank you very much. Aside from the competencies and skills in a particular field, because you have different types of fields, you have engineers, but because I'm from the education field, if you are a teacher, for example, or a graduate teacher, we would expect you, number one, to be able to communicate. We will expect you to be able to, present particular content using the, standard methodologies of delivering a particular subject. So apart from these basic competencies in a particular field or specialization, we would also want you to have what we call 21st century skills. These are skills that will advance you in terms of promotions, but also being able to deal with different circumstances that are going to unfold before you. One of which is flexibility or adaptability. We live in a dynamic environment or in a dynamic world where there is consistent change. So unless you are a graduate that is able to apply your mind and adapt under circumstances, you will always face challenges. We also want to produce graduates who have the ability to engage in whatever decisions they are engaging in critically. So critical thinking is one of such skills that we would also want to see in our graduates. We would also want to have graduates who are able to communicate. Most of the challenges that we face today in this 21st century are problems that could have been solved should we have proper communication skills. So we also want them to have such kind of skills, but also social skills. We need to have people who are able to interact, who have some kind of interpersonal intelligence and intrapersonal intelligence, which means you understand yourself, but you are also able to understand others. Digital competencies or skills cannot be left aside, especially in the world of industrial revolution. So we also want our graduates to have such skills, among others, to be able to thrive in this current global situation that we find ourselves.
Brilliant.
Yes.
In relation to the conference, any final remarks you'd like to leave with us this evening?
Thank you very much. I would just like to urge all our listeners, all viewers, that the conference is going to take place tomorrow as early as 8 o'clock. It's going to be taking place at the NIPAM campus. We just want to invite everyone else who's able to join us It's going to happen in form of a hybrid conference. So if you are not able to join us in the venue, there's a link, especially if you go to the university website and you search for EduCon 2024, you'll be able to pick up, because we have loaded all the information, the link, and then you can follow us wisely. And finally, like we said before, education is a collective responsibility. We continuously ask for government organizations, non-government organizations to hold hands together and shape the Namibia, the Africa, the world that we would want to see. So I think those would be my final remarks as far as the conference is concerned. Thank you.
Dr. Enoch Simaseko, thank you so much for your time this evening and being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back after this very brief break, our conversations continue here on the Daily Roundup, so stay with us.